Hi loves, hope you're well and you've had a good week. I'm back in London this week recording and the vibes are just vibing today. They're absolutely immaculate. I'm going out with my friend later. I haven't seen her for ages. We've been really excited and you know how it is. I feel like as a girl, the foreplay for a night out starts at least a week in advance. Like, guys don't understand. I think guys before a night out, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they just text each other being like, hey, where we going, what time we're meeting, sound, see you there. And that's it. The girls need the build-up. Like, girls need foreplay in sex and in life. And the build-up for this night out has been starting all week. It's been going on at least 5-6 days. We've been like checking the weather for the weekend, making plans around that. We've edged the time earlier to get out earlier, checking menus for places, texting each other like, what are you wearing? I'm so excited. Just text each other every day like, I'm so excited to see you, can't wait. Even today, like playing music, getting ready, keeping in touch. And that just builds the vibe and the excitement. And I'm sorry, I just feel sad for guys. They don't experience that, I don't think. It's probably one of the best things about being a girl. Like, the girlhood of a pre-night out vibe is always fun. Okay, I'm going to go straight into this week's story. And remember, guys, if you have got a story to share, please email me, sadie@lovewhatluck.com, or send me a DM. All the links to my social media and stuff are in the show notes. So yeah, if you've got a story to share, then please send it on. Okay. My husband of 10 years, together 16, went out one Friday night and never came back. What? I suspected he was cheating as all the red flags were there, late home from work, turning off locations on his phone and head never out of it, etc. We have 3 kids. I told him that night if he went out not to bother coming back as I knew he was cheating even though he denied it. I just feel like that is such a bad feeling. Like, you just know when you get to know if something isn't right, and he's just lying to her face and she's saying like, don't you dare come back here because I know basically you're going to go and see somebody else. And he denies it, but then still doesn't come back. So it like reinforces what you know, but then he hasn't even got the decency to like break up with you. I just feel like if I was having an affair or something, isn't that just the perfect chance? If somebody says, if you go out, don't bother coming back, I know you're cheating. Isn't that just the perfect time to be like, do you know what? I am, and I'm sorry, and I'm going, and let's end it. No, I'm not cheating, I'm just going to the pub to see Dave. And then you go out and then you just don't come home. Like, how is that better for anyone involved? Just so backwards. Also, how wild to be with somebody for 16 years and then they just go out and then you just never see them again. Like, so traumatizing. Okay, sorry. When he was out, I texted him and told him I was packing his bags, but I heard nothing back. He collected them 4 days later while I was at work. 2 days after he left, I checked my Facebook to see if the girl that I thought he was cheating with had put anything up. She had me blocked. Sorry. If you're blocked by a girl like that you think is cheating, she's got your man. She has got your man if she has blocked you. I'm sorry. Like, that bitch knows that you're going to be looking for her, and she knows that if she puts a picture up of her and you a man, that you and all your friends are going to come for her. So she's blocking you, premeditated, that is. That is savage. My stepson texted him and asked him if he was cheating, and he denied it to him too. This girl was his... What? This girl was his best friend's ex, who she had a child with. We were pregnant at the same time. Oh my God. So he's having an affair with the ex-girlfriend of his best friend, and his best friend is the father of that woman's child. What the hell is wrong with people? We were pregnant at the same time. I texted him the next day and he finally admitted it. Oh, well done, mate. Well done, you. How big of you to admit it whilst the whole world knows, you wanker. He was in her house the whole time. 2 weeks later, they went on holiday together and were posting pics on Facebook. 5 weeks after that, she was pregnant. Oh, no. We are nearly split up a year now and she's nearly due their child. I've been far happier without him and I now own the house that we own together. He, on the other hand, is 22k in debt and has 5 kids to 3 women, while she will have 3 kids to 3 men. He has no friends left, and at 43, all he has is a bin bag full of clothes. Holy shit. Well, I think in that situation, you can safely say that you are better off without him, because anybody who doesn't even have the balls to admit, like I said, he had the perfect opportunity to just come clean and actually apologise, and he didn't even have the balls to do that. I just think, if you can't even give me a conversation about what you've done, and you've been with me for 16 years, then bye. Like, what an absolute loser. And also, go in with your friend's ex. I think boy code is the same, to be fair. I don't think that's like a difference in boys and girls. I think it's just as bad for a guy if your friend or your mate, wherever, goes with your ex. Like, I just don't think it's okay to do that ever. Well, I feel like we've had like plenty of stories like that though, where people just leave their partners. Like, sometimes the other partner hasn't even got suspicions. Like, we've definitely had stories like that before, where their partner's just gone out and just never come home. And I just can't wrap my head around that, because hello, I'm gonna think you've passed away. If you leave the house and I don't hear from you again, I'm gonna think you've been kidnapped, murdered, ran over. And at that point, I would be relieved, I think, to find out you'd had an affair. I don't know, because by the time I've heard you've been having an affair for like 3 months and you've got somebody else pregnant, I'm probably going to wish you were dead. But I think I would rather know, obviously. Well, yeah, I'd rather know the truth than think that you died. Like, what's wrong with people if they think that behaviour is okay? It's just so bizarre to me. Anyway, guys, I have to tell you, I had my first corporate Sadie cry this week in work. So for those of you that don't know, I'm a corporate baddie. Been a corporate baddie now for about, I don't know how many years. 5, 6, 7, 8. Boots, skirt and babies. I don't know. I've been a corporate baddie for a while. And for most of those years, I've been a corporate Sadie, where I have cried a lot in work. Oh my God. My last job, I've probably mentioned it before, I must have. I was crying at one point 4 times a day. 4 times a day I was in that toilet, crying, hiding. Lots of the time for reasons I didn't even understand. I just didn't enjoy being there. It was as simple as that. I just didn't like it, and therefore I would cry. Literally, somebody could come up to me completely fine and say something to me, and I would be like, as soon as you finish talking, I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to cry. And that was how I lived my life for a while, until I got this new job and I just became a corporate baddie again. No tears at all. Love it. Really found myself in there, like found my groove in the corporate baddie world. So it was a shock to me this week to have a corporate Sadie cry, but a cry I did have. I literally left a meeting and I went straight to the bathroom to cry, and I was like, I can't sit in here for 10, 15 minutes. Like, it's too busy. Like, I just can't do that. So I was like, you've got to pull yourself together and get back out there. Get your corporate baddie head back on. Well, I think I was in there maybe for like 3 to 5 minutes. It wasn't enough time. I went back at my desk and I could feel my eyes burning up. And I was like, if somebody says to me now, are you okay? I'm done for. If somebody asks me, are you okay? And I'm crying, or I feel like I'm on the break of crying, it's the worst thing you can say to me. If I feel upset and you ask me if I'm okay, like, how dare you? Because you're just going to make me sob. It makes it 10 times worse, because you can't bring yourself to say the words, no, I'm not. So you say, yeah, I'm okay. And then as soon as you say that, your mind's like, no, you're not, bitch. You're crying. You're going through hell. All this stuff has just happened. That's why you're upset, remember? And it all just comes flooding out. So I was like, if somebody says that, I'm done for, and I'm literally going to have to burst into tears and leave the office and never return. I'm literally going to have to quit and move abroad. Or if somebody asks me to do something, it could go either way. I was afraid of my reaction. If somebody asked me to do something, I don't know, I could have snapped at them, I could have cried. I don't know. Thankfully, nobody said anything. I did my one task, which came through via email, thank God. I went with my eyes filling up, completed the task, and then I had to go back to the bathroom. And what I've learned is with a cry, you have just got to let it out. Like, you've got to just let it run its course. So I went in, I think I took maybe 5 to 7 minutes this time. Got out, I was like, you know, it's really not that big a deal. It's work, like, you can get over it. It's not your life, and it's not going to matter in an hour. And I dried my tears, went back out to that toilet cubicle, and I had a really good day, actually. So, you know, I pulled it back around a lot better than I used to. But yeah, corporate Sadie days, they're not good. I even see them on TikTok sometimes. I think it's a universal thing if you're in the corporate world, that everyone just has a little cry in the office. I think it's normal. It is at least normal for me in my life. But yeah. Okay, if you watched on YouTube, you'll see I've had an outfit change. So basically, I'm doing the same things I did last week, where I start to record the podcast, go on my night out, and then record the second half of the podcast the next day, basically so I can fill you in on anything that happened on the night out. I thought it's like a fun way to do it in the one episode. So yeah, if you watch on YouTube, that's why I've changed. And also, I've developed a cold overnight. Like, can you hear it? I'm croaky. It's given vocal fry, which I never knew what vocal fry was until I started this podcast. And the number of men that told me on Facebook that I have a vocal fry and how annoying it is. And I was like, what is a vocal fry? It's apparently when your throat, like when there's like a little bit of a croak in it, which I never thought I had, but apparently I have, but I definitely have at the minute. Because I've got a cold. I've been fighting off a cold for so long, and literally in my gratitude list, every day I've been writing, I'm so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful that I've been fighting off this cold and it hasn't found me. But found me it has. Although, touch wood, I don't feel rough or anything. I just sound blocked up, so apologies for that. Okay, so I asked you on my Love What Luck Instagram the other week, the easiest way someone has bagged you or pulled you. So here are some of your answers. Gave me his hotel room key and told me which number his room was. That is one of the boldest things I think someone could do. If a guy came up to me, honestly, and gave me his room key and was like, it's room 604, I'd be like, good for you, congrats. Why are you telling me, folks? There's absolutely no way that that's how you're getting me upstairs. It would never work for me. But apparently it's worked for somebody out there, so hats off to them. For me it would just be no. Although it is always that thing where it just depends how much you fancy someone, which sounds savage, but if somebody really hot or somebody I found really hot did that and kind of did it in a cheeky way and laughed, I could probably laugh at him, be like, okay, funny, I wouldn't be in the hotel room tonight, maybe, but I might chat to you. But if somebody comes up and they really obnoxious and really like big-headed and cocky with it and they're not joking and they just give it to me seriously, I'd be like, ew, immediately no. I shared this one actually on the Insta as well. Someone said, a smile across a club dance floor, which I think is so old school and so cute. Like, do people do that anymore? I've definitely pulled people before giving the stare across the dance floor. Across the club, like you give the eyes, you look away, you look back up again, you lock the eyes, you look away. I was actually talking about this to my friend last night, where we were both saying stories how we've been out before and done the eye contact thing with guys that we've liked across the bar, and then like in her case she was with her mother with one guy, and I was on about a time with my friend, but it was the same thing where who you're with is like, don't look now, but there's a guy here that I think you're going to fancy and he's looking. And you're like, oh, I already know. Already seen him, already clocked him as I've come in, already given him the stare, know exactly what you're on about. That basically happened to my friend the other week. That's what she was saying. And it happened to me, it's happened to me a few times, but the story that I was thinking about was like, as soon as I saw this guy, I was like, he's the one, like he's so hot, that's it. Locked him in, and then my friend was like, there's a guy that keeps staring at you. I'm like, I know, I'm just waiting for him to come over, but be prepared, he will be looking in this direction probably for an hour until he does that. But yeah, do people do that anymore? I don't know. She actually said that I was in France, there's no British men do that. A smile Yeah, actually, a smile across the dance floor. I don't think British people do that. British people barely smile at their friends across the dance floor. Like, the more I think about it, actually, it's always just a stare. It's never a smile. As somebody said, I've got the easiest way that someone's put me off. Told me he likes older women, as in me. I'm sorry, bye. Boy, bye. You like older women? Good for you. Go and get one. Do not fetishize me because I'm over 30. I actually had this, the other week when I was out. Did I say this story? This guy was young. I can't remember how young. Maybe like 26, 27. So not like that much younger than me. And I really can't remember if I said this story, sorry. But yeah, basically asked me how old I was. I told him, couldn't believe that I was 32. I could literally hear him like saying to his brother, yeah, she's 32. I'm like, mate, I am 32. Like, I'm not ancient. And he's like, yeah, I usually go for older women anyway. My ex was 40. And I was like, is this a fetish? Because it's not turning me on. Let me just tell you that. I'm not an older woman. You're 27. Yeah, I would never get with you because you're 27, but I'm not an older woman. Or am I? At over 30, are we classed as older women now? And I'm just delusional because inside, I don't feel like 32. I don't know how a 32-year-old's meant to feel, but not like an older woman, I don't think. Anyway, but when I saw that one, I then asked you the question, what's the easiest way someone has turned you off? And we actually got a lot more responses for this one. Standard. Just shows how rare it is that you actually can meet somebody and it all goes smoothly. People have much more horror stories. Calling me a MILF, just no. That's the same thing. It feels like a fetish. I mean, I'm not a mother, but yeah, if somebody called me a MILF, like in like a serious good way, like, oh, you're a MILF, I'd probably be like, actually, I'm first and foremost a woman. And I'm hot, and I'm so many more things than a hot mother. Although I'm not opposed to be called a MILF. Just throwing that out there. I remember liking a Facebook group when I was younger, when I was in uni, called something like, what was it, like, when I'm older, I want to be a MILF or something like that. Like, I'm not opposed to it, I don't think it's a bad thing. But yeah, it's not the chat at blind you on in a bar, is it? What's your Snapchat? Ew, I'm not 12. I'm appalled that adults use Snapchat. I'm sorry. Loads of people back home do. It's just a strong no from me. I barely ever used it when I was young and when it was in and cool. No. Does cringe TikTok videos. I low-key can't say anything because I do love a TikTok video myself. But to see a guy doing one, the worst ones are like the videos when they're dancing and they're looking into the camera and they think they're being really hot. And I know it's bad, but it's like what I've said before. I just think guys can be hot, but not doing that type of stuff. Like, leave that to the ladies. I think guys, like, acting sexy like that, 9 times out of 10, a girl is going to be like, ew, it's disgusting. We just need you to walk around in, like, your work outfit or, like, a nice suit or something. That's all we need from you. We don't need you doing blue steel stares into the camera. Like, it's really not necessary. Saw him wipe his face with a baby wipe whilst walking down a busy high street. That's so specific. I mean, you gotta love a man that likes hygiene, no? What was he wiping off, though? What was he wiping off, I think, is the more important question. Food? That's a bit of an ick. Vagina juice? Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't think that would turn me off, but... But down a busy high street, like, you must have really wanted to get something off your face if you're doing that down the street. Random. For me, it's really all about politics, or if they agree with Andrew Tate, or if they smell bad. Fair. Something like that is just an immediate no on it. If anybody... Yeah, if a guy liked Andrew Tate videos or agreed with any of that type of view, no, yeah, that's an immediate no. And smelling bad, obviously, that's, never fun. When we were getting intimate, he got obsessed with a mole I have on my chest and said I have very blue veins. Okay, again, so what's the problem? Like, I'm in bed with you. Why are you looking at my moles, sir? Like, pay more attention to the lower regions, please. Like, let's stick to the plan here and let's see through the job that we came to do. Don't be looking at my moles and my blue veins. Fuck you, I'm sorry. A man pulling me up on my blue veins. That's weird because I've always said, like, to my friends, if they say, like, about their bodies or if they feel self-conscious, I'm always a believer that when you're in the bedroom, nobody's actually looking at bodies because, or they shouldn't be if you're doing a good enough job, because, you know, you're with somebody and none of that stuff matters because it feels good and you're in the moment. So that is bizarre to me that, in fact, somebody was noticing blue veins. What do you think this is? A porn house? I've got some veins, like, get on with it or get out. I haven't got time for that. I had been talking to this guy for a little bit and agreed to a date. Up until then, there were no red flags and I was really excited to meet him. Later that day, he sent me a text calling off the date because he wasn't feeling it between us. I respectfully understood and wished him luck. Never did I expect that he'd unleash an angry tirade of texts about how he had been testing me to gauge if I was truly interested. Apparently, I was supposed to fight or try to convince him to go on the date, but since I hadn't, I was clearly just stringing him along. I tried to reassure him that I was just respecting his wishes, but he wasn't having it. I went to bed shortly after and woke up to like 20 plus texts from him, calling me a bitch and a horrible person for going to bed without finishing our discussion first. It was the weirdest case of self-sabotage I've ever seen. I'm sorry, before a first date, that is the biggest red flag to me. Somebody that argues with you over anything before a first date is immediate no from me, because why are you bringing the drama before you've even met me, before you've even decided if you like me? Like, that is insane to me, to argue with somebody. And also to test someone is giving insecure. That is screaming, I'm insecure and I can't believe you want to go on a date with me, even though you've said yes. So I'm going to have to do this test so you can prove it to me. What a bizarre situation, and thank God that happened. It's good for the gals, because if he's doing that at the start, then it means 9 times out of 10 you're going to be able to avoid him. And he's not going to like whap that behaviour out when you're 3-4 dates in. So that's the only good thing about that. Okay, last one. He complained to the manager in a restaurant that the waitress wasn't smiling enough. This just infuriates me. The amount of times, I know already, if you're a woman, the amount of times you've been told by random strangers, men, of course, smile, love, why aren't you smiling? Oh, respectfully piss off. There's nothing more annoying, because one, I've had it loads. Have I got a resting bitch face? I don't know. But if I'm left alone somewhere, how bizarre would it be if I was sat there smiling, like, to myself? Like, how weird would that be? So if I'm sat there not smiling, there's nothing strange about that. And a random man coming up to you and telling you to smile, sir, it's none of your business. Like, I'm not here for you. I'm here for myself. Like, get on with your sweet merry day, please. Some men and some people just have the audacity. Like, that waitress was probably having a bad day. I've never been a waitress, but I've been a hostess. And have I ever told you why I quit being a hostess? It was because of this guy. So basically, I was working as a hostess. I actually hadn't been there long. I think it was like my 3rd or 4th shift or something, maybe like 5th. This man was getting drunk. So like when I first started serving him, he was making comments how, you know, I was good looking and, oh, my son would like you. I'm like, okay, going along with it. And then like the more I'm serving him, the drunker he's getting, and he keeps making inappropriate comments about his son. And he's like, I'm going to ask my son to come and meet me now. Do you think you'd sleep with him? I'm like, I'm just trying to get through my shift. I don't want to even have this conversation with you. I'm just hustling. I'm just trying to get through this 4-hour shift without dealing with this nonsense. So anyway, obviously you've got to try and entertain her a little bit because I'm working. So I'm like, oh no, you know. And then the breaking point for me was he said something like, oh, you're very polite, but are you polite in bed? Because everyone wants a polite girl, but no one wants a polite girl in bed. And I was like, mate, the only reason I'm being polite is because I'm going to get sacked if I'm not. But in that moment, I was like, do you know what? This job isn't actually even worth it. I walked away and I must have had like such a bad look on my face because my man just said to me, are you okay? And I said, no. And he was like, what's wrong? I said, I need to leave. And he said, when? I said, now. And he was like, oh, you're quitting? I said, yeah, I'm leaving. And I literally quit on the spot there and then. I was like, I'm not being told by some random man that I'm polite, but I shouldn't be polite in bed to sleep with his son. What makes you think I'm going to sleep with your son anyway? Like, get off your high horse and go and get yourself a drink because I'm out here. It was like actually quite a bold move. So yeah, that's like the same vibe. Like somebody telling you to smile. That waitress is probably having a bad day. She's probably dealing with loads of shit. And yeah, to me, that is an immediate ick, definitely. Oh my God, last night actually. We were sat down, right? And we were trying to order a drink. We couldn't get a waiter's attention. So my friend, like this woman came in. My friend was like, excuse me. And then I'm looking back, excuse me. It wasn't a waitress. It was a woman going to sit down at the table next to us. Oh my God, we were so embarrassed because nobody had uniforms on there. So how were we to know? We had just got there, sat down, it was very dark, and the woman like looked like she was... Why we thought she looked like she worked there, I don't know. There's no justification for it, but embarrassing, honestly. I don't know who it was more embarrassing for, because I wouldn't like to get mistaken as a waitress either. Not there's anything wrong with that, but like, why do you think I work here? It's just bad all around. I'm actually fuming because last night I drank, don't get me wrong, we had 2 bottles of wine, we had margaritas, but it was all well and good. And then coming to the end of the night, like the last few hours, my friend was like, should we get another round? I was like, no, I'm actually done, I'm going to have water. Like, so sensible queen now. I went on to water. I had like 2 or 3 glasses of water. She wanted a shot. I was like, I can't do a shot, I'll have a tiny sip of one. Like, I was so good. I came back, I smashed 2 pieces of toast when I came in, 1 with Marmite, 1 with Nutella. Not that you asked, but I just wanted to give you that information. I took 2 paracetamol. I got to bed. It was like 4 a.m, but I slept like on and off for 8 hours. Midday, I woke up thinking, okay, surely I'm going to be okay. I had a bloody hangover, headache all day I've had. What was the point of me going on water? I might as well have just kept smashing the drinks and had a good old time. Well, no, to be fair, I'm sure I would have felt worse, but is there an age thing? I feel now like I'm in a spot where if I drink anything excessively, it just turns me into a zombie the next day. It's really depressing, actually. Okay, I've got another story for us this week. My ex got into art and started attending an evening class, so for her birthday I spent a fortune on all the gear for her. Oil paints, water paints, brushes, canvas, easel, etc. And that shit is not cheap. Come her birthday, she opened all her presents, broke into tears and ran straight out of the house and disappeared for 3 days. I had no idea what was going on, was really worried about her, until she finally called me to explain. Turns out she hadn't been going to art classes. Oh, she'd been effing some other guy. And that was it for me, really. Never saw her again, despite her wasted attempts to say sorry. No, I'm sorry. This is key, right? I got this advice a long time ago from a friend, and it's very, very good. She told me that if you're saying a lie, make up the lie as close to the truth as possible. So, for example, if you're having an affair and you're going to see the other person in Tenby, say you're going to see a friend in Tenby. Don't say, I'm going to see somebody else in a show, or I'm going to stay at home and do work, or any of that stuff. Because in the future, if a story ever comes out about that time you went to Tenby, then it makes sense. Do you get me? So that's where this girl has gone wrong. She's completely made up an art class, which is so rogue, because if you're lying about a full hobby in a place that you go in, you've got to come back up with multiple lies to see that through. Like, what about when he asks you what technique you learnt with the brush today and stuff? Like, what if he's asking you to paint? Like, where's your paintings? That's such a stupid lie to do. Not that I'm encouraging lying, but come on. Did you really think you weren't going to get caught out? You've been saying you're going to art classes and you've been going to fuck somebody else. That is a schoolboy error, I'm sorry. You deserve to get found out for that. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Please remember to follow, subscribe if you're not already. If you're listening on Spotify, will you please leave me a little review? It takes like 1 second. You just click the 5 stars and it's nothing for you, but it does make a massive difference to me. And I just want to say thank you to all the regular listeners, because I see you every week. I see your name come up. You always message me and get involved, and I do really, really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you to that. And if you're new here, then please stick around and let me know your thoughts. Come and tell me your stories. You can email me at sadie@lovewhatluck.com. I don't know why that came out so difficult then. Sadie@lovewhatluck.com. Or just send me a DM there. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you next week.